Hey guys and gals, this is Alex with Legendary Apartment Brokers here in Kansas City. Today is Monday, March 31st, last day of quarter one in 2025. And this is the KC Multifamily Minute. Let's get right into it. As we do every week, got some stats for you. So what do we got for new? What kind of new listings do we have for multifamily in Kansas City? Well, it's actually kind of an interesting week. In the last several weeks, we actually have 7 new listings we're going to talk about briefly, how they fit into your 1031 exchange, how they may fit into your active real estate investment strategy. Are they in good locations? What kind of locations? Those kind of things. So we're going to cover that here in just a second, but there's 7 new ones to talk about. On the other hand, we have how many listings? So we've got actually 40 available properties that are out there on the MLS that are $500,000 plus and built before 2020. 51 of those were available, but 11 are under contract. So there's 40 active listings that are not under contract. 4 of those or so are my listings, my exclusive listings. I've covered every single one of those, so I'm very familiar with all of them. Over here then on LoopNet and CoStar, there's actually 36 available listings or so, 40 active, so 4 under contract over there. So guys and gals, that's the most I've seen in quite some time. So I'll reiterate what I've said over the last couple of weeks, and I said in my email last week. It's a buyer's market. Now, is it a go throw cash at everything and buy everything that's available on the market right now? No, but it's a good opportunity to take a look at everything that's on the market because there is a lot on the market, a lot of quality stuff. It's not as overpriced as it was a year and a half, 2 years ago. But let's talk about these new ones we've got coming to the market or that are on the market. I'm going to hop over here to my website, legendaryapartmentbrokers.com. And for podcast listeners, I'm zooming in. So first up, we're going to look at this sixplex here that's just east of 71. It's $549,000, 2408 East 29th Street. Again, east of 71, west of I-70. Very classic colonnade style sixplex for $549,000. So you're well under $100,000 per unit. As you guys know, this is not an area that I do a ton of business in unless I have a client that is actively looking at buying or selling in this area because it truly is block by block. It's going to depend on a lot on the rents and the interiors. As I thumb through the photos here on this sixplex, you can see it looks pretty decent. You know, it's got the updated color scheme. It does have older kitchens, but it looks like oak wood in there. So anyway, I think it's probably a fine deal. You got a 1031 exchange. You want to find something affordable in the urban core, this would be an okay deal for you. Of course, depending on rents and the building condition. Active investors, again, you want to add to your portfolio east of 71. I do think it is a fine enough deal. I've seen a lot more overpriced deals here. This one's not necessarily one of them, at least not on paper off the top, okay? So if you want to talk more about that one, I'm glad to do that. Let's zoom back out, get our bearings here. Remember, there's actually 3 here on the MLS this week that are new, that are $500,000 plus, that were built before 2020. Another one is going to be $5.5 million. Zooming in here, guys, to 1515 Walnut, so right in the heart of downtown, just south of the South Loop in Kansas City, true downtown crossroads area. $5.5 million. I clicked on the listing here. I can't remember exactly how many units it is. Oh, looks like it's taken a while to load. But, you know, really it's all pretty much newer construction. Let's see here. Looks like it's loaded up now. Newer construction. It's a once in a lifetime chance to own this exceptional luxury building. You know, one of the things that one of my pet peeves is it doesn't say how many units it is at the top of the listing because, you know, I'm more than likely just going to move on here from that. So if you're a real estate agent, broker, listing, always put the number of units and the bed bathroom count at the beginning of your listing so that way any buyer can know exactly what you got going on here, okay? So it is a nice newer construction in terms of newly redone building, classic Kansas City new rehab construction units, $5.5 million. Could be interesting if you want a downtown trophy asset. 1031 exchange investor, if you got half cash on that, so $2.5 million plus, could be an interesting investment if you want to do, if you want to be, you know, have more of a trophy asset. Same thing if you're an active real estate investor. I would consider this a Class A location. So make sure you look at that Class A urban core, a little bit different than Class A suburban, but definitely Class A location. Love it. Love hanging out down there. So it's a good opportunity to look at deeper dive on the numbers. My guess is going to take quite a bit of cash to make it work for you. Okay. All right, zooming back out. So we've got one more property here on the MLS. It actually happens to be also urban core, just west of the crossroads. Really, I mean, a lot of people would say it's a crossroads, west side, duplex for $650,000. It's been rehabbed, remodeled, currently used as an Airbnb in at least one of the units. So consider all of that. Brings in income if you're an owner-occupied Airbnb user. There are exceptions to that rule that you've seen in Kansas City where you can't really Airbnb, but if you're owner-occupy and you live in it 50% of the time or 51% of the time, whatever the rule may be, it might work out for you. I think from my perspective, it is what it is. Duplex, $650,000. You want to live in one side, rent out the other, live in west side, could be an opportunity for you. You got a 1031 exchange. You're not going to live in it. Could be a tough fit for you, but again, another trophy asset. So we got two trophy assets here on the MLS this week. They could work out for you depending on your 1031 exchange or active real estate investing needs. That's also a Class A location there. This one here on 2007 Summit. Okay, so a couple interestingly decent opportunities here depending on your needs. Another just quick note on that sixplex here east of 71 off of 29th Street. That's a Class C minus location, maybe even a D. But again, this area is block by block, so it could be a B minus, C plus. Just depends on really how the other buildings look around it and what the rents are there in place at the moment. All right. Okay, so that's the three new listings on the MLS. Okay, but what about LoopNet? So LoopNet, we have some good opportunities here as well. I'm going to pull that up. So before you get super excited, we don't have 50 or 60 different properties on the open market. That's actually one listing, but we will cover these four true new listings. So one of them is a 104-unit building in Belton. It's Georgetown Apartments and townhouses. There's a lot of townhouses in there. I think it's 20-plus units. The rest are apartments. If you're a podcast listener, I'm hovering over the listing here. It's down in Belton. This could be a Class B, B minus, maybe I think B plus would be pushing it. Could also be a Class C or C plus area. It is suburban Kansas City, South Side, Cass County, good submarket, a lot of different reasons for growth down there. If you got a 1031 exchange and you've got maybe $2-3 million, probably more like $3 million, this could be a good one to 1031 exchange into if you're willing to take on a large 100-unit transactions. I don't do a ton that are 100 plus, but I definitely seem to do about one per year, and they're all kind of similar to this, built, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and have been rehabbed over time, and now an operator's been there for a while, looking to sell and move on. So again, 1031 exchange, active real estate investor, I think that one will do well for you at under $100,000 per unit. Would depend on the rents and, of course, the expense ratio there if you can get that figured out and nailed down. All right. All right, let's move on. We've got a couple other ones. I think we talked about this four houses for $725. Houses are good investments if you can buy in a good portfolio value and have good in-place rents and renters there. There's a lot of different equity plays for selling off individually over time. I also have a 5-house package in Independence that'll be out there and listed for about $539,000. So just keep that in mind when you're looking at multi-unit. If you're not quite sure with the multifamily world, true multifamily building package of houses is a good investment as well. All right, so coming back over here, guys, and gals, to this 7-unit apartment building here off of Harrison, so 4025 Harrison Street. It's 7 units for $850,000. I'm zooming in here. This is right next to Truce, right west of Truce, heart of Midtown area. Very, again, classic colonnade style building. If you've driven down the area, you've probably seen these or think you've seen them. It's $100,000+ per unit, which is going rate right now. A lot of it would depend on rents and building condition. Just scrolling through the photos right now, they look pretty good. Stainless steel appliances, at least in this. Central heating and cooling, I can see that. Washer and dryer in unit. $125,000 per unit is not a bad price or so for this area, this location. Depending on the rents, I would consider this a Class A minus location. Again, it's going to be a little bit block by block down here in the urban core, but Class A minus location. And if you got a 1031 exchange, you like the urban core, you can make something like this work. Could be a good opportunity for you. Same thing if you're an active investor, you want to add to your urban core portfolio, could be interesting as well. Of course, it all depends on the details. All right, since we're here, we're going to also talk about another property here. It's also in the urban core, close to a streetcar extension stop at 40th and McGee. It's a 5-plex for $600,000. Interestingly enough, I own a 5-plex just up the road at 39th and Warwick, 3830 Warwick, and these were both for sale at the same time 6-7 years ago. I ended up buying the other property that I own, but this one is also available. So they're both very comparable. I like it, like the location. It's nice and quiet. I believe they're all 1-bedrooms. There might be a 2-bedroom in there. I do not believe there is off-street parking, but there is plenty of on-street parking over here as well. So if you want a 5-plex, something affordable, close to the streetcar stop, $600,000, I think is actually a pretty solid investment if you can get the numbers to work on your end, okay? So again, same thing. I'd probably consider this more of just a classic Class A location in the urban core in the Midtown. If you want to do a 1031, if you're an active 1031 exchange investor, it could work out. If you are an aggressive real estate investor looking at your Midtown portfolio, it could also work out, okay? All right, let's scroll back out here. Look at a couple other ones. Make sure we've got them all covered. The last one on this list is going to be a 72-door portfolio for $7.5 million. Based on what I'm seeing here on LoopNet, it's spread across the entire metro. 72 units. My guess is there's probably a lot of houses in there. There's a lot of opportunity for you to pick apart after you acquire it and see what you could piece off and maybe make some of that equity back. Just depends on your strategy. I like buying large portfolios that are reasonably priced and in reasonable locations. Just look at locations here. They're all across, looks like the Missouri side. Again, 72 doors. It would probably take a little while to get this thing through, meaning under contract and purchased. But my guess is the built-in value could be, interestingly enough. I'd love to help you out on buying something if you got an active 1031 exchange, or if you're an aggressive investor right now and want to take a stab at, selling everything, adding to your portfolio, doing whatever you need to do, could be something interesting to look at. Okay, guys. So I covered a lot here. Wow. 7 new properties. Again, buyer's market right now. That could change in an instant. I hear people say that the interest rates are coming down. Commercial rates are pretty steady, around 7%. Of course, things going on in Washington and the federal level are making people nervous. So that's why it's a good buyer's market right now. And again, if you're thinking, well, the shoe's going to drop, there's going to be more out there, your opportunity then is to refinance as rates drop. So real estate is fantastic in that nothing changes super fast. And if it does, there's other opportunity to add on to it. And so sticking with your plan of buying multifamily investments, multi-door investments in a market like Kansas City that is recession resistant can be a benefit to you long-term and short-term. It's never going to go gangbusters. I don't think. I could be wrong one way or the other, but it's always going to be this solid investment that you can hang your hat on to build wealth for you and your family. All right. So guys, that's everything today. Today's Monday, March 31st. You know how to reach me, Alex at legendaryapartmentbrokers.com. We'll talk to you soon.